And now for an amazing story, inspired by the book of Thessalonians, chapter 5, verse 11.
Alexander sauntered through the market square, looking for the fresh fish his mother wanted for dinner. Of course, he took his time, soaking in all the sound and color. It was right here that he had first seen Paul and heard him preach about Jesus. Of course, Paul had been forced to leave town, but there were still crowds of fascinating people to watch.
Wow, if only my mom would let me come here every day.
Ahead, he spied the stall where his friend Dimitri's family sold brightly woven rugs and blankets and tunics. He remembered with envy that Dimitri had recently been asked to take over the stall on his own.
Why does he get all the fun? I wish I could spend my whole day here where everything's happening.
But as Alexander drew closer, he saw that the stall was empty, with no one to wait on the customers.
Dimitri?
Alexander spotted movement at the back of the stall. He ducked behind the wooden slats to discover Dimitri, leaning against the wall, breathing quickly.
What are you doing back here? You have customers.
I know. How will I ever face them?
Haven't you done this before?
Not on my own.
Come on, Dimitri. All you have to do is take money. It's not like you're building the Colosseum.
Dimitri moaned and gripped his face with his hands.
But they ask questions, and then my mind goes blank, and I say the wrong thing, and they look at me like I'm not smart enough, and
I don't believe it. You know, you get to have all the fun, and you don't even want it.
I'm not bold like you.
Well, Paul says believing in Jesus is supposed to make you bold, so you better just get over it.
Another voice cut through the babble of the crowd outside.
Dimitri, where are you?
Dimitri's father peered into the gloom behind the stall.
There you are. People are waiting. Anyone could have walked off with my best rugs.
Taking Dimitri's arm, his father firmly steered him back out into the open.
I'm sorry, Alexander, but my son is busy right now.
Dimitri gave Alexander a final pleading look, but Alexander turned away, irritated, stalking off to buy the fish. Why did Dimitri have to act like such a big baby? When Alexander reached home, his mother met him at the door.
Alexander, where have you been? We've been called to a meeting at Jason's house.
Why?
What's going on?
He just received a letter from Paul. We must go right now.
A letter from Paul. Alex forgot his worries as they hurried down the narrow streets. Jason's house was packed. Believers from all over had gathered to hear this letter from the man who first told them about Jesus. At the front of the room, Jason held up a small scroll and cleared his throat.
Please, listen, everyone.
Alexander inched closer along the wall to get a better view.
Here's how it begins. I, Paul, am writing this letter to you, the members of the church in Thessalonica. You belong to God the Father and the Lord Jesus Christ.
It's like Paul's right here in the room with us. Alexander listened, enthralled as Jason continued to read. And then Paul's words seemed to leap directly from the page, right for him.
Jesus died for us, and we will live together with him. So cheer each other up with the hope you have. Build each other up. In fact, that's what you are doing.
Alexander swallowed hard. Actually, cheering and building up was not what he had been doing for Dimitri.
I made fun of him. I discouraged him.
Early the next morning, Alexander slipped out and ran toward the market. He was just a street away when he saw Dimitri ahead. Steps dragging.
Dimitri, wait!
Dimitri slowed and turned, face wary.
What do you want?
Are you watching the stall today?
Dimitri scuffed his sandal in the dust.
I guess. Dad says I have to.
Are you still scared?
Why? So you can make fun of me some more?
I'm really sorry, Dimitri. It was wrong of me. You can't help it if you don't like crowds.
Dimitri just shrugged.
And, you know, you're amazing at dyeing cloth. I don't know anybody who can make blue like you can. I mean, when you tell me about hunting for cedar root and safflower and how you mix it all up, it's so cool. I mean, I bet you can tell buyers about it with just a little practice.
Maybe.
What I said yesterday, that knowing Jesus makes you bold, well, I said it all wrong, but it is true. He thought we were important enough to give his life for. So, I guess it really doesn't matter what other people think, does it?
Not so much.
It might take a while to like talking with buyers, but there's nothing wrong with that. And Mom says I can help you all morning.
Really? Well, that'll make it easier. Until I get used to watching the stall on my own.
Come on, race ya. Last one there is a rotten trout.
The two boys took off, sandals slapping against the stones. Alexander could feel a big grin spreading across his face. It sure felt a lot better to encourage his friend than it had to tear him down.